Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, the podcast for all things Mecha. Jumpship incoming.
All right. Welcome to episode 16 of Mobile Armor Radio, or if you are one of those people, season 2, episode 4.
Season 4, I fell asleep.
Season 4, wow. We've skipped ahead 2 years.
It's a flash forward episode.
Yes, I'm your host this month, Chopper. With me, I have the everlasting Brian Novak.
Hello.
And the ever sweet Rob Harper.
Nobody's ever called me sweet.
Ever.
So glad we were able to at least get together here close to the end of the month. With us all being super busy. How about we just roll right into the dropship then, huh?
Yeah?
Sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it. Get this excitement up.
Yeah. We got this. 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Moving to the dropship.
Dropship landing.
Alright guys, welcome to the dropship. So, let's see what everyone's working on. I think since I am the worst at this, I will pick myself to go first. So, again, to continue with the life choices, I have not worked on a ton. I've actually started working on some stuff because I, while still am very busy, have made some time this time around. So, I've started putting together my Monster Apocalypse figs that I got at Gen Con. Once I get those together, then they'll hit the priming table, and then...
then they'll be sorry.
Then they'll be sorry, because then they'll just sit there primed. But I have also then now started making... I've talked with Rob over the last couple days, and I really want to put a dent in my models, so I've started putting together and priming some of my models. I posted on pics on the... Well, not a mech. I did finish up the last model that was on my to-finish list, which was the original Battlestar Galactica Cylon Raider.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to get that together, painted, weathered, and put back in the glass case. So up next will be the finishing of... I know I've spoke about this for several months now, but he will be done by... 100% will be done by the time we get to episode 17. Will be Nemesis Prime, and I'm going to throw out there probably Starscream.
Those are both the Furai ones?
Yes.
I want all the Seekers in Furai. I keep looking at them, but I'm waiting for December for, I think it's Thundercracker's not out yet. So I'm waiting for him. So I'm getting all 3.
Yeah, you can probably pick them up at C2E2 if you want to wait that long.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Maybe I should wait that long. Then it would save me ordering from Big Bad Toy Store and getting killed on shipping and duty.
It's true.
So, yeah. I might
put
wait.
Together my King Kong that I got at Gen Con and the Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, for Monster Apocalypse?
Yeah. So, those I think I'm going to not do a Pat Lewis paint job. I'll probably just do I want to get on the table and play paint job.
Have you painted any of those yet? I
have not.
Yeah. Do you have the game though, right?
I do have the game. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like I did with my Cav and just airbrush the base and highlights and then just touch up with some details with some brush on stuff. So it should go fairly quickly.
Those aren't the base game guys. Those are guys you got extra. What comes in the base game?
The base game, you get a monster, looks like kind of like a Godzilla-ish kind of guy. And then he's a destructor, and then the other starter is Guard, which is kind of a robot, looks kind of almost Gypsy, what's his name? What's Gypsy?
Gypsy Danger, or?
Gypsy Danger with the circle in the chest.
Yeah.
And you get tanks and a couple flyers that the support for him.
That's cool.
So it's hard. Yeah, it looks like his fist flies off. So he looks like he's a combination of. Yeah, he's got like the Gypsy Danger chest, but then like 2 giant engines on his back. So he almost looks like Gypsy Danger with like a jetpack.
Nice.
Like, didn't it have a jetpack in the end? I think it did, didn't it? I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, and then you get a map and a couple buildings in the starter set. You'll get a repair truck, some G-tanks, grab tanks, and stuff like that. GUARD stands for Globally United Advanced Research and Defense, which protects the innocents from the horrors of the monster apocalypse.
What scale are the tanks? Really small? Like, teeny?
I would say they're about an inch long.
That's all right size. It's probably, 10 millimeters, 6 millimeters, somewhere in there?
Yeah, roughly around there somewhere. Yeah, it doesn't really say.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense with the scale of the Godzilla and stuff.
Yeah, because the monsters are what, about 50?
50 millimeter? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, roughly in that sense. So
yeah, probably about that.
Yeah.
It's all metal, or is it metal and plastic?
It's metal and resin.
Resin, that's right. Mix, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember playing with the Mecha Godzilla right after Gen Con.
So, but that's what I've been doing at Dropship. Not a whole ton, but still a lot more than I've done in the last couple.
Right. You've done 1,000% more than you've done before.
So, now we'll move on to the second busiest man in this group. Brian, what do you got going on?
So, it's weird to have that mantle when, once again, life has been very busy these last couple months. And so I barely had any time to do any kind of painting or modeling.
It's called the girlfriend, isn't it?
That is a factor.
She'll never hear this.
And,
yes, it's a factor.
Ooh, that's true.
But no, it's all good.
She won't hear.
But I would like to really start making a dent in some of the model kits I've got. A lot of the modeling I tend to do is more game centric, and so that's kind of been the thing. Is like, it's like, if I'm doing any modeling, it's like, do I really want to work on one of these things, which is just going to be, kind of a standee, or do I want to spend my free time on something that I'll be kind of using, so to speak. So that's kind of been the dilemma, but I think I should just
a good way of putting it.
Working on one.
That's why I decided that up until the end of this year is just going to be about model kits.
Yeah, I think it's worth making a dent in that. I've got a lot of the stuff I need for the other tabletop stuff that I play these days. So I think it's high time I start, putting together that Stark Jag and the EZ8 and everything that I got.
I blame Pat because Pat's working you too hard.
That way, I do not work him too hard. That way, when you come to Mitsui again, then we can pick up some Gundam kits at the bookstore.
I really should just save my money.
With a list.
Yeah, save my money and get one of the really nice ones. Because there's some really nice ones there.
Yeah, there's a couple of those model kits are going to go on the Christmas list for sure.
Yeah, you going to get a perfect grade?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I shouldn't say 100%. I'm going to 100% ask for one for Christmas.
And yes, he is smoking a pipe, global style.
Yes,
staying true to his Robotech roots.
That's true. I got my little Admiral jacket on and my hat. I'm actually sitting in a swivel chair.
Yeah, we don't mention that. We actually dress up for these podcasts. Brian,
don't start that. I think Brian would totally 100% be. Oh yeah, we're doing it.
Oh yeah. Well, I do have one of those Admiral type hats for the SDF-1 with the little wings on it and everything. I have hats, a lot of hats. But yeah, so I will be turning around, getting some more stuff painted and worked on and built and all that fun stuff. So. But unfortunately, nothing as of yet. I've started teaching again, so that eats up another day of free time, basically.
Can't you just go on strike or something? Come on.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not
Don't you have tenure? Can't you just take a sabbatical at will?
You wish.
No, because I'm on year 2, so
Oh.
got about 8 more to go.
Yeah, you got a little few more to go.
I thought you can get tenure at 5.
Well, maybe. No, maybe not at this school, but
And you're not full time either, are you?
no, I literally teach one class
Yeah.
for 3 hours every week. But
It's probably an hourly thing. Probably
Yeah.
a certain amount of hours. Well, that's fun.
But, anyway, enough about that. So I'm gonna throw it over to Rob, who really he does the least of all of that's a lie. I can't say that. Rob, you do amazing work.
Well, I do get my Gundam loot, and this month's Gundam loot had 2 models in it.
Really?
I got
Nice.
a Hygog, the underwater one, and the GM Striker, which is another GM, which I love my GMs. And it's like a weird green color. Green and yellow. So he's alright. He's cool. I have a lot of GMs now. But the Hygog's cool. It's got the arms and the long fingers, like the underwater guys. He's very cool. He's the first really odd one I've put together. Mostly it's been Zaku's and things like that. Humanoid shape. Like, he's humanoid, I guess, technically, but he's a very odd humanoid. He's more like a crab creature. So he's fun. I like him. And, so that's what I've done. Gundam loot always provides. And, I have way too many models now. I might have to scale back, because my shelf is gonna fall on my head at any second, so... And I also have a lot of Battletech mechs to paint that I haven't gotten to, so I might have to concentrate on that instead. And I have tons of...
You might have to cancel your loot like I did for a little bit.
I think I might have to. I also have tons of Cav to paint too, and there's a whole Kickstarter coming of both of those, so...
Oh, yeah, that's coming soon, too.
I still haven't had a chance to put any of that together.
And I have, we have those Kids Logic pre-orders for the Robotech stuff coming too, so I'll probably get to those. That'll probably be the new hotness, so I'll probably get to those first before anything else.
Those look really cool.
Yeah, and they're going to be, we'll have more news about it, but supposedly they're shipping those ones earlier, so that's cool. The first wave is supposed to be October, but I think they're doing it a week early, so might be getting it soon. Cool.
Nice.
So that's about all I've been doing. Just putting together my Gundam loot. I have started on a Colonial Raptor, which is not mech related at all, but it is fun. It's neat to do a non-Bandai kit. It's been a long time, and it's very different.
Yeah, that's a Mobius kit, right?
Is it? Yeah. Who is it?
I think it's...
You can hear it? Yeah. Big M. So I'm excited about that. And I do want to get some of those Fury kits, but like I said, that probably won't be till next year, so.
Alright.
Cool. So that's about it.
So,
Nice.
Fairly nice and contrite dropship. So, as always, you guys, when you get your stuff done, post pics. Listeners, if you have anything you're working on model-wise, anything, please post pics on the Mobile Suit Radio Facebook page. I love to see what people are working on, and sometimes it inspires me to get my stuff going.
And also on the Discord, we have a dropship section where you can post your pictures on there.
Yes, please do that also. The more pictures you share, the more people see, and, we'll get we're going to bring back the second coming of the mechs.
And like you say, it does help with motivation when you see other people doing stuff.
It does. It really does. So, all right. So let's jump on over to ComStar then.
Message from ComStar.
All right, ComStar. So, again, me being the most irresponsible, I will direct myself first. Honestly, in this, as far as the media is concerned, I have not done too much. I have started watching, one day I was kind of bored and I wanted to, I forget what we were talking about. It was maybe me and you, Rob. We were just chatting and talking about Star Blazers.
Yeah.
And so I picked up, I started watching the remake, the Space Battleship Yamato 2099 or 2199, I think it is.
I think it's $20.99 for the first season.
Yeah, and then it's kind of re-updated graphics, things like that. And what I think I like about it the best is that now the faces are actually more emotive. So when Global is angry, or not Global, what's his face?
I forget that.
I always forget that guy's name, yeah. But now when he's angry, he looks angry.
It's not a generic face.
Yeah, so the eyebrows move, his eyes get all buggy, and so it's one of the things I noticed.
But they still really kept that art style.
Yes, they didn't stray too far. They just tightened up the lines, updated the graphics, so it looks a little updated. But I was watching a YouTube channel where they put the original and the 2099 together, and the scenes are almost the same, cut for cut. Just a few differences, like angles and stuff, but you can tell the difference in the graphics, which I think is cool. But I do like the fact that they're way more emotive in the face now, so which is funny to say for a cartoon. Second thing was I was held hostage by Rob to buy the limited edition Robotech RPG book. Nice. So I did purchase one for myself and one for Mr. Harper.
I don't think I held you hostage. I couldn't pay the shipping to Canada, so I needed you.
But it was enough just to put it on my radar. That's basically put a gun into my head.
And I requested the super limited edition version. What did you get?
I got the same.
You got the fancy version too?
Yeah, I mean, again, you held a gun to my head.
I think they said there's only 100 copies of that, so 2 of them
when I bought them, it literally said how many left in there. When I purchased both of them, there was 52 left, so they were half gone.
Nice, and that was like hours after it's launched.
Yeah, so they might be gone by now. We could always look.
That's a lot of effort.
It is a lot of effort.
I can look right now because I have the link right here.
I was going to say you have the link right there. And then I didn't do any video games. Comics, still, I'm trying to be a good Mobile Armor Reads guy. And I need to finish Monstrosity by Transformers. I've made a promise.
Primacy, not Monster. You already done Monstrosity. We're doing Primacy.
Yeah. So I need to... I made a promise to Rob that I would get that done within the next 5 days. So probably by the time this episode airs, I will have finished it, and then be on the lookout for Mobile Armor Reads.
Yes, we have to get back into that. We took the summer off, but we're going to come back.
Yeah, so I've now made a bold statement, so now I'm beholden.
As much as that counts.
Yeah. And I don't think I watched any movies. So I think that's it. So, Brian, you got anything?
Not as much as I would like to. But, yeah, I did get, since we met up, actually a couple of weeks back, for the Michigan Mantic, community's little, Mantic weekend event, which didn't have as many mechs there. I said both of or all of us. Like, both of you guys.
Yeah, did anybody have any Striders in Dead Zone? I don't think so, did they?
I don't think so. I was trying to remember as we were talking here, and it's just like, I don't think anybody brought a Strider.
I don't remember seeing any, yeah.
So there was certainly a lack of giant mechas at the event, which is unfortunate, but it was a really fun time. And
I do regret not buying GKR that was there.
Yeah, the GKR is still there.
I was good.
I think he still has that old Robotech Tactics box.
Yeah, it was expensive though.
It's still super expensive.
He needs to drop that down. As a matter of fact, if you go to the website where they sell the RPG book, if you are a Palladium Robotech RPG Tactics backer, you get a free copy of the Robotech Ace Pilot.
Yeah, even though they have nothing to do with it, they feel sorry for the people who didn't get Wave 2. So if you could prove you didn't get Wave 2 and you buy the RPG, they'll send you a free game. I already have that game, but... all
you gotta do is just screenshot your receipt from your Kickstarter, so...
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
But I did manage to snag. Speaking of Mantic, they had a deal on Giants in Dreadball, which includes some bigger mecha type bots that exist in this kind of futuristic sport game. So it was kind of fun to get a bunch of those. And then you guys gave me a copy of Critical Mass.
That's right.
Which I haven't broken out just yet, but I definitely one that I know you guys talked a little bit about and definitely sounded interesting. So
Yeah,
I'll be.
It's a good game. It's a good deck building game.
It might come up later.
Nice. Nice. But yeah, otherwise I've been kind of burning through a lot of the fantasy stuff that I got, such as books and movies stuff. So it's not quite as applicable, but yeah, just kind of that busy time of the year. So a little bit less from me. But Rob, how about you?
For actual things I've been doing, well, now I want to watch Pacific Rim again. But I haven't watched that.
Right.
I've been reading the Battletech book still. I just finished Far Country, which is by far the worst Battletech book ever written. And if anybody knows anything about it, it's there's aliens in it that are like sentient bird people. And I prefer to think of it as the last dream of a dying man. It's not an actual book. So
that's the fun thing with canon, right?
I know they said this isn't in canon anymore, this book, because it is. What happens is they have a jump ship like mistake, and they end up in some weird place, and then it's just. But it's so poorly written. It's written like an allegory, so I think it was meant to be like that. But I think it was supposed to be like subtle, but it's so heavy-handed that it's just bad. It's a terrible book. Nobody should read that book. Comic books. The Robotech comic has just ended, and there's going to be a new one called Remix, Robotech Remix, coming out. And at the end of the Robotech comic, the whole reality's kind of changed a bit. So Dana's going to return to her timeline and find it's all been messed up. And I think there's going to be some consequences for this time travel shenanigans. So it should be fun that things are going to be changing in that Robotech world for a reason instead of just for sake.
I think I've seen some previews where like people who were dead are alive.
Yeah, Rick never dies in that series. So Roy never dies.
Roy.
So
they
he's around.
They actually get married, I think. Isn't that the clip to
Him
the
and
show?
Claudia?
Yeah, him and Claudia get married, and Rick and Lisa get married as a dual wedding. And
then Min-Mei shows up and screws everything up again.
No, Min-Mei's missing. That's another one of the mysteries.
That's probably the best part of that whole book. Then,
yeah, she kind of sacrifices herself to defeat the Invid, and she's missing through time. So I think that'll be a major part of the story. And yeah, it's kind of fun. And also Dana was trying to get her mother and father because she went back in time to when they were enemies still. So she was trying to get them to like each other, but I think it might backfire on her, so she may not exist in her timeline. So it's kind of fun. Yeah, that book went for 24 issues. It was up and down, but by the end it was written by Simon Furman, and he's done a lot of great. He wrote the classic Transformer books, and he's written a lot of books, mech-based books. So it was really good by the end, and hopefully Remix continues that. And the art got better too. A lot of people complained about the art at the beginning. By the end, the art was actually quite good. So I think either Titan was selling enough to get good artist and writer on it. Maybe they made some money, which would be nice. So Titan also has a Blade Runner book. Blade Runner, it's like a prequel to Blade Runner. So it's kind of fun. And it's kind of fun book. So I'm enjoying that one too. So Titan's got some cool stuff in the works there. What else? RPGs, like Pat said, we picked up the Robotech RPG from Strange Machine Games. The link will be in the show notes if anybody wants to get it. There's 38 copies of the deluxe one left, so. And it's only like $20 more, and it's like leather bound and stuff. It's really nice. And there's limited editions in trotty cover too. I actually should check and see if there's any of those left, because that was, I think there's only a few hundred of those ones. So, yeah, so that you can go there. They also have they just announced a new game too they're doing as a dice game called Cyclone Run. And obviously it's going to have cyclones in it, but it's kind of fun that they're doing
what's
dice
a
games.
cyclone?
What is a cyclone indeed? And, Yeah, so it's funny all these companies, because Solar Flare Games kind of works with these guys because they have card games, a bunch of card games. Solar Flare does, and then they have 8 now. Strange Machine has some games too. They got that Ace Pilot, and they have coming out with this other one. So there's a lot of people doing games right now, which is interesting. And I think Strange Machine just announced that they're doing a miniatures game too. They're not making the miniatures, but they're doing so you can use your RPG Tactics miniatures for their own game, which is kind of strange. They sort of announced it. They showed off some previews for it, so it's not official yet. So that's kind of cool. So a lot of stuff going on with them. And that Cyclone Run, that's kind of interesting. Dice game. I always like the idea of dice games, so that'll be fun. Like I said, Kid Logics, they were saying they might be doing a miniature game too, based on all these stuff that they're putting out. And there was a rumor that they were going to be working together with Strange Machine, but it seems like they've fallen out with each other, that they're not going to be working together, so there might be 2 competing Robotech miniature games out there soon.
Oh, did it say what the falling out was about?
They just, we were talking about this in one of the threads, and it seems like Kids Logic, one of them announced that they were working with them, the other one said, no, we're not working together, and it was kind of like a weird thing going on.
Oh,
so.
Okay.
That's always awkward.
It's like you said we were going to the prom together, and then I never said.
Yeah, it sounds like...
I said I was going to the prom, but...
Not necessarily with you. They're coming out, just recently they put out new pre-orders for 2 powered Zentretti Power Armors and an armored VF-1J, which is cool. And then they've announced that they're doing a Spartan coming soon, and which is the Archer from I believe it's an Archer from Battletech, and also the Monster, the giant, which if it's to scale, that'll be pretty amazing.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, so, because I think they said that 40 millimeters is how big their regular ones are going to be, so if a Monster, it's going to be like 100 millimeters, so that'd be very cool if it's that big.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about that. I also got my Pacific Rim Kickstarter, which came in from River Horse.
Yeah, that looked a lot better than I thought it would, actually.
Yeah, the pre-paints look really nice, and they're like plastically rubber, like, kind of models, so you don't have to worry about breaking them. But they turned out really nice, and I kind of kicked myself for not buying more, even though it was pretty expensive. So I might have to, over time, pick up some more of them. I right now have 3 different types of Gypsy Danger / Avenger, the 2 different versions. I got 2 kaijus, and I have what's her name? Spartan Athena, is that her name? I think so. The girl one. So I got to get more of those guys, because they're very cool. The Jaegers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm really impressed with them. They're quite tall. I think they're about 60 millimeters tall, probably, if not more. And they're all posed and cool thing. And like I say, pre-painted, so you have to worry about it. Hex-based game. Giant hexes, though, not like Battletech. With some cool movement mechanics. I might have to videotape some playthroughs, or at least how to play for that one, because I'm kind of excited about it.
Nice.
What else is happening? Oh, Whisper 3 Kickstarter is out. It's only got a few days left, so you got to jump in when you're hearing this. But it's Whisper 1 and 2. I've gotten in on. They're pretty much if you know what Infinity Tags size for the mech suits in Infinity. This is they're making these resin mechs. And eventually there's going to be a game for it, but right now it's just really cool mechs you can pick up. And they're reasonably priced, and I always pick up at least some of them for each wave. And yeah, the link will be in the show notes. You can also find them on Facebook, and the guys behind it show everything they're doing, and they have a lot of background for all their world that they're building. And I like them a lot. Really cool posed miniatures, like, I like them a lot. So check out Whisper 3, and it's going pretty strong. It's already funded, yeah. But they're just going for more now.
The fantasy points.
Yeah, trying to get the other stuff, because they always have like add-ons they're going to add. They're adding tanks to this one too, so in the right scale, and more whispers. So whispers are the mechs. And yeah, go check it out. It's a cool thing, and pretty much you put in a dollar amount, and then you can buy the Whispers at a discounted price. And they end up being about $10 each, $10 to $15, mattering the size. So it's pretty good. Cool. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, especially since I think a tag from Infinity is $50, $60. So
yeah, usually. So
if you're playing Infinity, you need models for that, or if you just want some cool mechs, jump in on that. And is there anything else? I don't think so.
Covers a lot.
Yeah, I think I covered everything. I'm excited about the RPG. I know that's Fabian, our friend from New York City. We said that we should get every year. We should play some Robotech Tactics at Adepticon, because that's the only time we all get together. So
Robotech Tactics,
Robotech RPG, not Tactics.
Okay, I was gonna say
the RPG, yeah, not RPG Tactics. That's what confuses me. I don't know why they called Robotech RPG Tactics for the.
Who knows? That's. Yeah. Palladium, I guess.
It was a dumb
complicated
name. Robotech RPG at Adepticon. So yeah, maybe that'll be something we can do. So
yeah,
see.
Maybe
get together in Chicago every year.
That would be nice, except for you this year.
Maybe we'll see how it goes.
You can do it.
Most likely not, but my boss is going to be in Bali, I believe. So I'm kind of stuck. We'll see. Maybe the place will burn down before then.
Whoa.
We here at Mobile Armor Radio do not encourage.
And if it burns down, it wasn't me. That's all I need. It actually burns down. They'll take this into evidence.
Yeah.
He burned it down so you could go to Chicago. What a nut. So that's about it.
Right.
I think that covers everything.
I think that's everyone.
Nice. If anybody does have any more news, once again, post it on Discord, post it in Facebook. I love seeing when people put stuff that I've never even heard of up, and I get to check it out. I found
that's
a lot of games
bomb.
that way. So fun.
All right, so keep on posting, friends. All right, so let's move on to the MechBay Hanger, and let's start the round.
Now entering the MechBay Hanger.
All right, welcome to the MechBay Hanger, people. Today's topic of discussion is mech games. What is your mech game of choice that epitomizes the mech feeling for you? This is
tabletop games, right?
Tabletop games. I guess video games too. I guess.
Well, that opens it up quite a bit. I think that could be a different topic. I think you should.
All right,
stick
all right. So we're going to stick to tabletop. Yeah. You're right. Video games is a whole other beast in itself. So, your favorite tabletop mech game that kind of wraps everything you like about mechs into one. I mean, it's a hard topic to narrow it down, but I think we can all probably pick one that kind of wraps everything we get. I guess for lack of a better term, what mech game scratches your mech itch? Things like that. So I'd like to thank Mr. Jason Frazier for starting a poll on subjects up there, because it's always nice for you guys to have a subject that you'd like to hear us talk about. And Jason posted something about tabletop games, and I ran with it, and this is where we're at right now. So Rob, why don't you start us off?
I will say it is a pinned post in Facebook. You can go listener suggestions.
Oh, yes, I totally forgot to mention the pinned post.
And you can also go to Discord and mention stuff, or you can email us too. Nobody ever emails us. mobilearmorradio@gmail.com.
Because email is so impersonal.
Yeah, it's true. But my favorite mech tabletop games, well, I might as well get the big one out of the way. Battletech is where it started for me for tabletop mech games.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like it kind of gets in its way a bit. It is an overly complicated game, but also, because it's so complicated, it does make you feel like you're actually piloting a mech. It's not easy. You have to watch your heat, you have to do all this stuff, make sure your torso's turned a certain way, and there is a lot of upkeep on it, but I think that it also has a lot of nostalgia for me, obviously, because it is the first game. I think it might have been the first miniature game I ever played.
Oh.
I think.
Nice.
I'm trying to think back. I think it might be, because we played D&D, but we never used miniatures when we played D&D. back in 2nd edition when we were starting to play AD&D, I guess. So we definitely didn't use miniatures. So I think Battletech might be the first miniature game I ever played. And, well, it wasn't even miniatures at that point. It was standees. It was like little... I remember when I first got my first miniatures, and I didn't know how to paint
standees.
them.
Yeah, cardboard standees.
Because I got the Plastek box set, and I didn't know you had to prime them, so no paint would stick to them. And I was always confused about that. And because back then, it wasn't like plastic nowadays either. It was like this weird, terrible plastic. But, yeah... So, Battletech, for me, is definitely nostalgia-wise, and I think it gives you a lot of feels for the actually piloting a mech. But I think that is the big one to get out of the way early, so that we don't have to talk about Battletech at all times.
Yes.
I'm sure, Pat, for you, Battletech is up there too.
Battletech is the first one, but what happened for Battletech for me is, again, is well known my hatred.
Are you going to complain about the clans again?
I am, because it totally destroyed what I thought was my mech game. And, when you have years upon years of playing Intersphere, the houses, you got it going on. And I know the story itself for the clans, I think, is a good story. But what it did to the game, in my opinion, is what now hangs over Battletech for me right now, and it's not my go-to anymore.
You don't have to play with the clans. You can always just play Intersphere.
But still,
it's there.
It's there, and yeah. I mean, I think you'd had to have been part of that when the clans came out, and there's much anger, and you could see it posted everywhere against a lot of the old
pre-internet,
but yeah, it's there. And I'm not the only one either, too, so I might be the most vocal at this point. But
yeah, I think a lot of people nowadays don't understand how big a change it was.
Yeah, I mean, because we talk about heat, and then the fact that you got mechs that just can ignore heat for the most part, it's just ridiculous.
Well, double heat sinks help a lot. Plus the technology, it used to be in the original Battletech, everything was right on the edge of breaking, and you really had to worry about everything. And the moment the clan started, all that new tech came in, and it did change the game. And a lot of people like that, the highly tech-based game. But that original game where you're just scrounging for bits and hoping that your stuff works, and
yeah,
I think it's a different game. I understand why people like the clans. I like clans, but I do prefer the idea of hundreds of year-old mechs fighting each other, because they just didn't have the technology to build new ones. And that changed very quickly once the clans were introduced.
Yeah, and then the Omni chassis and all that stuff, so the Omni-Mech.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think are we on to me now, I guess?
I guess so.
Sure.
I will say that the game that I think really scratches my mech itch at this point is Cav.
Mm.
It wraps up everything I need. There's nothing too overtly powerful, nothing too one-sided, I guess is the word. Every faction has its own kind of flavor to it. They have their strengths, they have their weaknesses. Their faction special power gives you a little bit of an edge on certain things, but not edge over the whole game. like my faction, for example, the Rock. They're very good at getting bonuses face to face. They're I want to look you in the eyes, I kill you kind of a clan kind of a thing. So I get mass bonuses but I have to get up to you. So I'm running fast. I'm taking hits as I'm coming in. But then once I get into your face, then I can put a hurting on you, which is really cool. There's a diverse amount of mechs.
I like how it's aliens. It's you got really different factions. Like the look and feel of them all are quite different, which is kind of fun.
The recon units are actual worth something. And one thing I didn't like about Battletech is the recon units just didn't do the recon stuff that you needed. So these recon guys, they're all about the electronic warfare. So you get them up in there, you can really screw some people up, and then now all of a sudden you have this little mech who's causing a bunch of havoc running around, you got to go, okay, I got to kill this little thing because he's blocking everything I'm trying to shoot on this big guy who's now putting a hurt on me because I can't hit him because this little guy is messing with my equipment. So the recon units are really good, and they do what they're supposed to do. That being said, you're not, in some Battletech games, you can put the locust out there and you try to run it behind and shoot from behind. You can't do that with the recon units in Cav because they're fragile and they're meant to do the recon stuff. They're meant to just spot, stay out of sight, things like that. So
you're also a Steiner player, and your recon is a Warhammer, so
yeah,
or an Atlas or whatever it is.
Exactly. So I think at that point, I think Cav at this point, I mean, there's a couple things that Cav, and we've been mentioning this before, that I would like to see change in itself, but again, it doesn't take away from the game for me. These, I mean, it's just like any game. There's some things I don't like the other things, but it doesn't take away from the game. It doesn't stop me from playing it. But as far as all the other mech games, I think Cav is the one. I mean, it really scratched that itch. Monster Apocalypse, I haven't played enough with it yet, but I think that's more of just a side game. GKR I played quite a bit of. That feels more like a gladiatorial battle than a big war game kind of a thing, where we're fighting for land. GKR feels more like a televised gladiatory battle, and I think Brian passed out.
No, I'm good.
Some of the other games that I played but all the other mech games that are fun, but I think they're just pass the time games. Like Time at Mechs, and love Time at Mechs. But again, it's built to be a gladiatorial type kind of battle game, and it feels that way.
Also, Tiny Epic Mechs, I find, is more powered armor feeling than mech feeling.
It's true.
You feel like you're a guy in a powered armor. And there was a giant mech, but it's not that giant. It's I find it's definitely doesn't have the feel of a like big mech stomping around. You're not crushing buildings and
Critical Mass is a nice mech game, but you're not actually playing with a mech. You're playing with cards. So,
but that does have the feel of like trying to get things in the right order, and like it feels like you're actually operating systems, which is kind of I think Critical Mass makes you feel like you're actually a pilot in a mech. I find for a game that doesn't have mechs, there's no miniatures. I think it does have a lot of feel for being
it does. In that sense, yes, I 100% agree with you, which is why I like the game so much.
Yeah.
But for the topic of the roundtable, I think Cav at this point right now, as we speak, Cav is the mech game for our time right now. I haven't played enough of the new Battletech yet. I've read it, and while some changes, it's still the old Battletech in sense and flavor, which is still nice.
I'm actually excited for the MechWarrior Destiny RPG they're bringing out. It's the new version of the RPG. I guess there's some mech rules in that's very simplified, and that's something they just came out with the beta. If you're part of the Kickstarter, you can check out the beta for that. And that's where I'm thinking Battletech, because I love the world, and I think that might be the place to be in that world.
Yeah, so, but Cav right now has got a solid rule set. It's a fairly quick game as far as mech games are concerned. So that's where I put my hat at this point. Brian, you got anything you want to add?
Well, I'm kind of in an interesting state in that I don't have as many like big mech games that I'm actively playing, or even have played in the past. I have like starter sets for several kind of things right now, and I just haven't found the time to play them. So like I've got the new Battletech starter set. I've got some stuff for Cav. I've got that one sci-fi RPG, that like anime RPG thing that Rob sent me one time. So I've got a couple of these that I haven't quite tried out to see really what will grab me. but I would say so for me right now, like Dead Zone and in part Mech Zone are kind of like the ones that really kind of fit that niche for me, right? So it's kind of a little bit it's at a nice scale. Like I like where like people are, 28 millimeters kind of like my favorite scale for miniatures, and so something that's just slightly scaled up but still kind of relative to them, I find really fun. And so they do take up a foot mark, if you will, on a map or whatever you're playing with. And I do find like I really like that skirmish style gaming, something that's really easy to transport, pick up and play, not too much of a time sink, and something that's just really kind of, in a way, kind of casually fun, as well as I do certainly love things that have a lot of depth to them. I've, as of right now, like I said, Dead Zone with a bunch of Striders and Iron Answers and all the big mechs kind of on the field, even though there's only like one per faction in most cases, is pretty fun. But I have been meaning to try out some of these other ones, and I know like Battletech is a little bit more involved, but I've heard Alpha Strike for it is kind of streamlined is the right word, but it's kind of
definitely it's a middle ground. It's
a lot
easier,
a little faster pace to it.
Yeah. And people like using that to do bigger battles, but I personally like it for doing like quick battles. So
yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. And I've been waiting in the wings to get my hands on like Cyberpunk and probably pick up the new Shadowrun at some point. I'm not as familiar with how involved mechs, like big mechs, are in those spaces. I know like Shadowrun, you could be, or used to be able to be like a rigger, and so you have like a drone of some kind. That was always really fun for me. I'm kind of just in this weird space of I've got options and stuff that I want to try out at some point. Just haven't had the time to.
Yeah, I mean, lately there's just been a ton of mech games and more coming out with that mobile suit. What is it called?
The Mobile Suit Skirmish game looks like a lot of fun.
Mobile Frame Zero, Horizon Wars.
There's
that new one that's going to be coming on Kickstarter. What was that one called? It's a solo one, too. You can play solo, which is fun. There's a lot coming out. It's a renaissance for tabletop mech games, for sure. Yeah. Like I said, we mentioned...
there's Whisper.
Yeah, Whisper is going to be... Hopefully they'll come up with a game for that. Plus the Strange Machine and Kids Logic are probably doing their own version of the games. RPG Tactics, which everybody says that Robotech RPG Tactics, the game itself, is actually quite good. It just, unfortunately, the Kickstarter, they screwed it up so bad. But the actual mechanics of the game, a lot of people like the way that game works. I don't have the starter set. I have a lot of the miniatures, but I've never bought the starter set. So, once again, that might be something I'll be picking up at Gen Con next year if I could see it cheap somewhere.
For $25 again?
Yeah. And
Giga Robo's another one that we found at Gen Con. The game itself was pretty solid, though I'm still waiting on my replacement buildings.
You'll never get those.
I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
There's also that other one that Simon is doing that has like those Japanese mechs too that they showed off at Gen Con.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a Gundam one, wasn't it?
They had the Gundam one, which didn't have it only had standees, I believe. But then they had this other game. I can't remember what it was called.
I took a picture of it, but
yeah, me too. Starship Samurai too, which I painted all my mechs for, but I've never actually played.
Oh yeah, I played that game a couple times. That's a nice little board game. The mechs are it's a card game. The mechs are there just as figures wise, and the movement is boards. You don't actually
you're not fighting each other with them.
No, well you kind of are in a sense, but again, it's like Giga Robo. Oh, not like Giga Robo. It's more like Critical Mass, where you have the board in front of you, but most of your interaction's done with cards.
Well, there's also all the Solar Flare card games too. If you're talking about card games, They are the Robotech ones. There's tons of Robotech games out there, that's for sure. They've kind of, after Palladium lost the license, Harmony Gold went crazy giving everybody a license, but amazingly, I think most people have been saying that all these games are quite fun. So that's good. Like there may be a lot of games out there, but at least they're all fun. And they're not games you need a big community for anyways. It's you and your buddy are going to be playing them. So it's not like it matters that they flood the market.
Right.
So it's whatever.
I agree.
Pick one up. It's fun to play. Whatever. It's not like it matters that it's only a one and done thing. It's not like there's going to be expansions and things.
GKR is another mech game that's also very fun. It's a high price one.
It's expensive, and the size of the box makes shipping impossible for it. So you have to pick it up somewhere and then get it home somehow.
You're gonna have to take it. You're definitely gonna have to take it out of the box.
Well, or just have a whole suitcase devoted for it. It is a giant box, and then there's quite a few expansions for that too now.
Yeah. So
even the new speaking of Weta, that new District 9 game that's on Kickstarter has a big mech as your final boss. So you kind of have to fight in it. So
nice.
That's kind of fun, just like the movie.
There's also that Metal Gear Solid board game that's being. I think it was kickstarted a while back.
Did it have the giant, what is it called? The mongoose or whatever it is?
Metal Gear X.
Did I miss that?
Probably. There's been so many Kickstarters.
I'm trying to remember if it was actually Kickstarter or if it was just released. I think I saw it on Amazon at like a really big price point.
Yeah.
But
Dust. I forgot about Dust. If you want some weird World War II, you get lots of mechs and Dust. I love those mechs. I love the aesthetic of Dust. The game plays very much like Dead Zone. Like, when I played Dead Zone, I was like, oh, this is like Dust. It's kind of square-based combat. And
it's a Panzerpunk kind of style, so if you like kind of that World War II aesthetic, if you will, with mechas.
Yep, I got a lot of the old stuff off of Miniature Market really cheap, and I think they still have a lot of the starter sets super cheap there. So if you want to get into Dust, I would check out Miniature Market, especially if you're in the United States. It's free shipping, over $100 or something. So
nice. In
Canada, I get it shipped to States. I can't afford to ship that kind of stuff to Canada.
So, well,
yeah. Oh, role playing games. I forgot to mention Mechton. That's the other role playing game too.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of other role playing games. A lot of mech role playing games coming.
There's a lot out for mechs in the last year, whereas before in the back day it was BattleTech and
Pacific Rim. I just mentioned Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah, you got the Pacific Rim game. I haven't, but no one's played that yet. So
no, we haven't tried it yet.
We can't comment on it.
No.
Yeah, a lot of great options out there.
I guess we should mention 40K.
Why?
Yep, they have the big Titan size ones, which
So if you're a millionaire, you can afford to get that kind of stuff.
It looks expensive, and it's a fun spectacle. Like, if nothing else, like seeing those stuff set up at conventions and whatnot. Always does look really, really cool. From
the one Imperial Knight is the same price as the GKR is.
Oh yeah.
It's expensive to play.
And then there's that new the Epic scale game too. That's all mechs. I forget that's.
They're re-releasing the Epic one.
Yeah, what's it? I forget what it's called.
But I forget what they renamed it, but it's still Space Marine Epic.
Yeah. Well, they're doing all that. They have that plain one coming out now too. But anyways, there's tons of games. There's definitely not a shortage of mech games nowadays.
My fave though, I'm gonna call Cav. Rob, you're calling BattleTech.
I guess so, yeah. Mech Zone, maybe. Mech Zone is fun, because Mech Zone is just simple and
it's your baby.
Well, we did help redesign it, but it also it's just Dead Zone with mechs, and fun. Yeah. You can, hopefully in the future we'll make it so you can design your own mechs. We kind of did designer mechs, but...
Shout out to JP from Zerpcast for actually creating the first Mech Zone.
Yep, he's the OG creator. We just did version 3, so... And, it's, he had a good idea just to throw some mechs together, and there's more available, and hopefully more in the future we can add to it, so.
Yeah. So if you are, looking to get in some mech games, there's plenty of suggestions here. I personally like, I like the Cav, I like the mass battle, the big battles, the 10-15 mechs running across the board.
Also, Mech Zone, the link will be in the show notes, so you can actually download the game. You just have to you could pretty much use it with any mechs, but, Buy Mantic products.
Right.
All right. So, I think that's the end of MechBay Hanger, yeah?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's head on to the ExFil and get a coffee.
Let's exfil out of here.
And now we're at the ExFil getting a coffee. So, good times. A lot of good talk on some mech games. It's amazing how many mech games we have out there. Good talk. Very excited for some Robotech RPG.
Yes. That's December, I think, is shipping, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll have a come play Robotech RPG with Mobile Arm Radio one day.
We do want to do some Skype RPGing. We were talking about that on our other shows. So
yeah, so we could definitely include an episode of Mobile Arm Radio where we play a quick game of some RPG with some lucky listener.
Or unlucky listeners, more likely.
Exactly. Depending on how you look at it. I prefer to think that you would be lucky.
Your glass is always half full, isn't it?
No, it just needs to be refilled. So stay tuned for the Facebook pages because Nemesis Prime is going to make it showing up. I guarantee it.
Nemesis Prime. He is cool.
He is cool.
They some of those Fury ones are weird, but I like the look of him and I like the look of the Seekers. But Megatron, they had a Megatron. He looks a little weird, and they have Bumblebee. I never really liked Bumblebee, but those kits, I do like them. Fan Toys, I think, makes them.
Yes. So this is October, so November, it'll be Rob's turn, and Rob will be hosting the show. And
I will say that we're going to be...
Our MechBay topic.
Yep, it's going to be... we did have a poll that was on our Facebook, and also I mentioned it in the Discord. And if you want to email us, we do have an email at mobilearmorradio@gmail.com. Tell us what your favorite mech is. And we're compiling a list of everybody's favorite mechs, or listener favorite mechs. We've already done our own, and we're going to discuss. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what our listeners are into, and maybe it'll influence what we talk about more. If certain people are like, it's going to be cool. Hopefully, so we'll see.
Yeah.
So vote for your favorite mech.
Definitely.
It's in the announcements area on Facebook or just in Discord anywhere. In the Shatter Dome.
In the Shatter Dome.
Nice. So that's what we'll be talking about next month.
All right. So that is it for episode 16, season 2, episode 4 for other people. I have been Chopper.
And I've been Brian.
And I'm still Rob.
And we will see you again in November. So stay mechy.
Okay.
Deculture.
Protoculture?
This has been Mobile Armor Radio. Join our Facebook group by searching for Mobile Armor Radio. Find us on Twitter at @MArmorRadio. Find us on iTunes and visit our website, mobilearmorradio.podbean.com. Join us on the first of every month for more Mecha discussion.